Okay, so we're on day 2 of trying to get the dash installed. We did not make nearly as much progress as I wanted to because, well, I'll tell you about it in a second. But, see, we got the radio in, which we've already shown. But our big problem is the big gaping hole right there. The instruments. So we have the cluster back out over here. What I could not get to work, well, let me back up. Wipers worked fine. The dash lights worked fine. The newly installed voltmeter that replaces the old ammeter worked fine. What did not work fine were the other gauges, like, let's see here, I think this is, was this fuel, oil pressure, and temp, or something like that. I mean, I guess I could flip it up and look at it. So, no, temp is over there. That one worked good. The one on the top, which is the oil pressure, did not work. And then the fuel gauge over here did not work. So, none of those gauges were working. I don't know why. Well, let me brag. I did not know why. I tried, we checked grounds, grounding seemed to be good, all that. There was something, and I'll pop a picture in right here, shows you what was there. But let me go to the schematic here. So hold on a second, we'll flip over to that. So here we are on the schematic for the instrument cluster 67 without tack. I don't have a tack. So you'll see this thing right here. This is a constant voltage regulator. So what happens, as best I understand it, you get 12 volts in from the ignition to here. It runs through this unit, which down steps the voltage to 6 to 6.5. And then that is actually pulsed. It's not a constant. It's a pulse voltage that then comes out and runs to all of the gauges that we were just looking at. So we think that was the culprit because we were getting 12 volts in, 12.5, 12.4, something like that, actually what we tested, but we weren't getting anything out that we could measure using that device right there. Okay, so we think that was it. We even hooked it directly to a battery with 12 volts and still was not getting good readings out of that. Now somebody suggested that a digital meter like the one right there was not the best one. Actually, Jeff Ford over at the Auto Resto Mod channel and group of channels told me that an old analog one would actually show the pulse much better with a needle. I don't have one of those. I couldn't find one. I used to have one, but I may have gotten rid of them because they were so old and some were pretty rusted on the battery connections and stuff. So I give it to my friend Charles, who came up and helped me with all this. He's an aircraft mechanic, so he has some better tools for testing things like that. So he's taken the unit with him. When we took it off, it rattled, which is not a good sign. I don't think they're supposed to rattle. They are mechanical in nature, so there's no digital stuff in there. It just is. Jeff was telling me that it's kind of almost like points in a distributor. It's a little contact that moves up and down that generates that pulse. So shaking it around and having it go rattle, rattle, rattle is probably not a good thing. Sounds like something's broken off. It was working fine when I took it off, but who knows? I had it up on a shelf. It could have been jostled, joggled, knocked around. I don't know. Who knows? So my guess is that's the culprit because everything else on it's working. So with that, I'm going to continue to work on other parts, getting the ashtray, whoops, there it is, ashtray installed, finish the speaker, whoops, installation back there. But we continue to make some progress, getting a little closer. So anyway, going to get back at it. We'll see how far we can get. Okay, so we have the back plate of the cigarette lighter ashtray installed, and I've got an old phone of mine here, because that's the main reason I wanted this, was to see if I could charge my, electronical devices. So like this is an old phone, a Samsung Note 8, I think. Anyway, I cracked the screen on. So it is charging, which is good. I have it running on my battery pack right now. Or the car on the battery pack, not on the battery because I won't die, but just testing it. A couple of things with this one I want to show you. So, first off, there's this orange wire here that is actually goes back and plugs into the cigarette lighter back there. That's your power. For me, in my particular AutoWire, American AutoWire kit, this wire was not labeled. So I didn't know where to go to. I actually had it just sitting over here because I thought it was another orange 12 volt constant power, which there's a bunch of these on this harness that aren't really labeled for, they're for other things. But I know that is for the cigarette lighter because, well, in testing, I actually blew the fuse. And don't ask me how, I just did it. So it was the fuse that was labeled on here as the cigarette lighter. So that one right there was the one that's blown. So I know that is indeed the cigarette lighter connector, or at least one on that circuit. So it's plugged in. Another couple of things. This gets grounded a couple of ways. First is, you can see this wire here. This is a ground that comes up, and I've grounded it to here. Seems to be working. But that's not the only thing that grounds it. This whole chassis here that you see, and this part here, also connects to the frame, where it screws in. It's got 3 screws. It's got this one here, one over here, and then there's one that goes up here. I don't have that one. I'm going to see if I can find one to put it in. But that also helps ground this, which is what the lighter hole also is, connected to this frame. So it also assists with grounding as well. At least that's what I think. I'm not 100% on this. As I said, I'm not an electrical guy, mechanic, or anything, but I was getting connectivity between that grounding point, the grounding wire, and this frame. So I assume that's on there. So you got a pretty good ground here going through with the wire plus this. So this should help keep all that grounded very well. So I think we're going good with this. I'm going to try to find the screw for that. And then we'll be done with the cigarette lighter and ashtray. So yay. Let me get back. Oh, let me show you one other thing while I'm thinking about it. Where did I put that little... So getting these screws in is a pain in the keister. And I have, here it is. So I have a couple of these little angled screwdrivers that come in different sizes, and they have a flat blade on one side. There we go. And then, where's it at? There we go. The Phillips head here on the other. So that's what I use to get in here and get to those. You could use a bit that goes, in a drill or a, I don't know, one of those changeable screwdrivers. You can change out bits on it. So that would work with some sort of like, box end on the end. So you put the bit in the screw and then use the box end to tweak it in there. So you could do that. Or if you had maybe a really, really short screwdriver that would fit, that would work too. So anyway, just wanted to show that to you. Now, try to find that once, if I can find a screw, and then get the ashtray back in. And we're one step closer. Okay guys, we've got a good, got most of the dash, all of the dash completed except for that. The instrument cluster, and that's going to have to wait till we can figure out if that relay is bad, but I'm pretty happy. Notice I even was able to get the floor mats that I had in here. Now these aren't original to the car. I bought these, if I remember correctly, back in '87 when we got the car back. I don't remember if they had any floor mat. I think they had some cheap generic floor mats in here. But I got these again. I think it was the Mustangs of Atlanta or Mustangs. Yeah, it was Mustangs of Atlanta. Back when they were still in business. So we got those in there. Trying to clean up the one back here. This one on the driver's side I've got in. That one that was there, I actually found it when I pulled the carpet out in the big gaping hole that was right there. Apparently I'd put that under there to help seal that hole some. So now we don't have big gaping hole because we completely replaced that floorboard. So we're darn close to getting this thing back on the road. Again, we got the gas leak dealt with. We have all the electrical issues so far except the dash taken care of. Again, you know, that's working, and even got those courtesy lights on down there. All the other lights are working good, so we've got that. So we just got to get this figured out. I think I'm going to hold off on the steering wheel, repairing it, fixing the cracks in it, till later. I'm hoping to put a power steering system on here, a Borgeson power steering unit. So when I do that, I've got to pull the whole steering column out of the car anyway, so I'll wait probably till then to repair the steering wheel. I mean, it's fine. It's got a metal substrate underneath the plastic, so it's really strong. So that's not an issue there. I think that's about it. Kind of dark, isn't it? Let's see if I can get more light. Let's see. Here we get it. There we go. That's better. Okay, so with that, we'll go ahead and call this one a video. Hope you've enjoyed it. You know, we've made some progress. Like everything, we always hit a road bump or two, but you know, we keep moving forward, right? Taking those steps, which is a great thing. So still hoping to drive it at least around my neighborhood before Christmas, which I can do. You don't have to have an instrument cluster to do that. You might not know how fast I'm going, but anyway, still be good to back it out, turn it around so I can do the heater core hoses and all that, get that stuff since it is winter. I have been running the car today, ran it for probably 30-40 minutes just to make sure the battery was getting charged up since we've been playing with the electrical stuff. She's running good. I think she's running rich. I still need to set the timing on her, and I have discovered there looks like a leak on the carburetor where one of the I don't know, levers or something come out. It's not one of the normal gaskets, or at least I don't think it is. So we'll have to deal with that at some point. Still got plenty to do on this old girl, but you know, we're making progress. She's certainly better off than she was when I first started on her. So with that, guys, hope you have a great and wonderful holiday season. This may come out around Christmas time, not sure. Hope your Christmas is amazing. Wish you a joyous and wonderful new year. May 2021 be so much better than 2020 was. And with that, guys, I'll see you later.